Welcome to Authentic Conversations with Ryan James Miller. Join Ryan as he speaks with top business leaders and influencers and hear how they've mastered the art of authenticity to achieve all that they dreamed of. As you hear from these leaders, seek not only to be inspired by their authenticity, but to strive for and master your own.
What up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Authentic Conversations. So I'm in a new rhythm, I'm in a new flow, and what I mean by that is I'm going to be changing things up a little bit in the podcast. We're still going to be doing our weekly episodes on Thursdays, but in the past I was rotating a lot of those between guest conversations and then solo episodes, and I've been getting so many great guest opportunities. I'm just getting a lot of backlog, and on the current schedule that we're on, that was going to push me all the way out until something like, I don't know, June, which is just crazy. I mean, I'm recording this right now at the beginning of March, and I didn't want my guests to wait that long. There's excitement in our conversations, and I want to share a lot of value in those. So I decided to take out my individual podcast episodes from that Thursday rotation and instead create these shorter Tuesday episodes. So you're going to be getting this episode on a Tuesday. I'm going to try and keep this rhythm as best as possible. Tuesdays will be solos. Thursdays will be group conversations or conversations with others. And so we'll see how that goes. I'd love to hear your feedback. You can hit me up on social. You can email me. You can text me, 714-202-9402. Questions, comments, concerns, feedback, whatever. Any one of those ways is a great way to find me. So why am I here? Why am I doing a Tuesday episode of the podcast? What is it that I want to talk about? So typically when I'm creating content, when I'm doing anything on my own, it's always or often the result of hearing something from somebody else, either something somebody said or did, response to something in the economy or culture or whatever, business, an interaction I had, and it spurs me on to something. And so I happen to be sharing something as a result of just that. So I was listening to somebody that I really respect. As best as I can, being that I only know him from a distance. I've been following him for a while. But he said something that was ridiculous to me. And he said, if I can only just impact one person, that will be enough for me. This is a guy that has a multi-million-dollar business, significant vision for the future, got his hands in all kinds of different things. He has clearly already impacted one person. And yet he continues on to build his business, to market himself. Look at I get the premise behind that or the intention behind that. I too love to impact people. If we've ever worked together and you've given me some sort of positive feedback, I love that. That is so encouraging to me. It drives me. It fires me up. I recently got a text from a client that brought me to tears, literally brought me to tears. I asked him for some feedback, and what he shared with me, I didn't even see coming. It was just so amazing. So that type of impact is really important to me. Like, it makes me feel good. It drives me. It makes me want to do it more. But to say that we stop at one, like that's all it really takes, is kind of silly. So I got thinking about that, and I wanted to totally pick that apart, but that wasn't where I decided to go with this, because I wanted to make this a little bit more informative, educational, to help kind of walk you through a process. And this is a process that I take a lot of my coaching clients through that have either ownership in a business or they seek to be really successful, maybe own their book of business and sales, like something like that. So what I want to talk about is purpose in business. You know, a lot of people say like, this is your why. Simon Sinek made that really, really big, and maybe that's a part of it. But I really want you to consider, like, what is your purpose in business? What is your intention? What is your desire? What do you want to see? What outcomes do you want to produce coming out the other side? So I was thinking about this, and because I'm trying to keep these episodes brief, I'm just going to kind of walk through just a few of these and just explain a couple of things, but hopefully this is helpful for you as you think about your purpose in business. If you just say, and I know this is important, but like, I'm just here to help people. I just want to make an impact. I just want to make a difference. Like, yes, I understand. And that's probably a valiant belief. And you're going to work hard, and there's truth to that. But it's more than that. And ultimately, we're in business for some sort of personal benefit. It doesn't mean that the only reason you're in business is for personal benefit. I hope not, but that's going to be a part of it. So that's got to tie in. So here's just a couple of things that I came up with that I would have you consider as you think about purpose in business. So whether you work for somebody, you work for yourself, whatever it may be, here are a couple of things to think about. And if you have this dialed in, maybe this is a good time just to go back and reflect on your statement, why you're in business. And is it still the case? And does what you do support that? Are you reflecting that in your words and your actions in the marketplace and things like that? So here we go. Couple things to consider. Number one, your purpose in business may be for personal wealth, right? You're trying to earn enough money to provide for yourself, maybe your family, and you want enough of it so you have the freedom to go on vacation, to maybe buy a new car, maybe pay cash for cars so you don't have to worry about payments. You want to be set up for retirement. Whatever it is, your primary goal, maybe it's not your only thing, but your primary goal in business is to gain personal wealth or to grow your personal wealth. And I used to live in the camp, and I've talked about this a few different times. I used to live in this camp that was like, oh gosh, you can't make it about money. If you make it about money, it's just greedy and selfish, and money is the root of all evil, and blah, 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 blah. And I don't believe that. Yes, I believe that the love of money is the root of all evil. I believe that we can be overconsumed with greed. I believe that we can be really selfish and self-centered in that, but I don't think money in and of itself is the problem. And as a matter of fact, if we're not in business to generate money, then I don't know what you're in business for. Like, even a nonprofit has to generate revenue in order to do the things that it does. So, I mean, it may not be for personal wealth gain, but that's why people are in business. Like, it always has something to do with money. So maybe for you, it's personal wealth. You want to grow that. And again, you need to check that. You need to consider whether or not you're doing that for the right reasons. But if that's you, attach yourself to that. Make sure that the habits and disciplines that you have in your life and the outcomes that you're pursuing all help you to produce that personal wealth. And it may be more than one of these things. I don't think that you just have to have one thing that you're primarily in business for. Another one, maybe it's notoriety, influence, reach. Like, you want to be seen, you want to be known, you want to be one of the go-to people in your industry. If that's the case, great. Are you doing that? How are you doing that? Like, if that's your purpose, then how are you living that out? And I mean purpose in business, right? Not necessarily purpose in life. I mean, maybe that's your purpose in life too. But are you set up to create the best opportunity for notoriety? That's another thing that you want to consider. Number 3. I told you I'm knocking through these fast, but I want to work through them in a way that gets you to think, provokes you a little bit, and then you can reflect on your own. The third one that I think of is provision, or maybe even protection. So provision or protection. So you're in business, maybe not so much to grow a lot of wealth, but you're in business to provide for yourself. To provide for you. Like, you want to be successful enough that you can just live the life that you want to live. Like, you just want to be content. You don't want to have to worry about money. You want free space to kind of come and go as you please. You just want that provision. And or maybe you are, and I kind of put these two together because they're similar. You are in business to protect yourself from ever having to worry about money. And maybe that goes up a little bit back to the like the personal wealth and prosperity, but maybe not so much. Maybe it's just maybe you used to be in a place where you always had to worry about money. Maybe that's you right now. Like you're worrying about how you're going to make your next car payment, or you're struggling because you're putting a lot on your credit card and you're not sure how you're going to pay that off. And so you just want to get to a place. Your purpose is to get to a place in life where you're protected from fearing not being able to make it. You're protected from something bad financially happening and you need to cover that. So whatever that may be, that may be your purpose. Your purpose in business is for provision and or protection. So again, set yourself up in such a way. Are you pursuing that? Are the things that you're doing, your daily activities, your goals in business, are those things all supporting your desire to be provided for and or protected? I hear a lot of people talk about that one where it's like, I just want to make sure that my family's good. And then I'm starting to work with them and I'm evaluating some of the things they do and say, and I'm like, you guys are good. Like, why are you still putting in 60 hours a week? Well, because I need to make sure I'm like, you're good. Like, maybe you need to focus on some other things, or maybe that's really not your purpose. Maybe you do want prosperity and personal wealth and or something else. And again, that's not bad. Just gain clarity. Be clear on what it is you're after. If you don't have a clear vision for the future, you're really going to get bumped and bruised on your path to get there, if you ever get there at all. Another one that comes up, number 4, and this goes back to what I heard. I almost said his name. I don't want to do that. But maybe it is because you do want to make an impact. I don't think anybody is in business to simply impact one person, though they may value each individual person that they impact. But maybe you want to impact people. You want to make a difference in their life, in their business. And again, maybe you're hearing all of these and each one of these is some part of you. Don't get too confused here, but yeah, you want to make an impact. You want to make a difference. And if that's you, are you doing that? I do a lot of work in the health insurance community with brokers and carriers and some vendors. And there are a lot of people in that industry, thankfully not so much my clients, but I hear a lot of people in that industry talk about wanting to make a difference, wanting to make an impact. And then I see what they do. And I'm like, the only person you're positively impacting is yourself or your own agency or your business. I mean, I guess you're impacting everybody. You're just negatively impacting most of the people you work with because you're more focused on yourself. So when we talk about making a difference and impact, that's usually the narrative of impacting others. And so if that's you, just make sure again that your words and actions are supportive of that statement, of that belief, of that desire, of that purpose. Next one, maybe you're in business to create future opportunities for yourself. Maybe you are hustling hard right now because you want to produce something different in the future. Maybe you want to invest into some real estate. So you're working really hard right now for an opportunity to do something else. Maybe you're building one type of business to learn and grow to get into another one. Maybe, and this is what I recommend a lot of kids coming out of high school do, is instead of automatically just going to college because everybody says you have to go to college and get in a bunch of debt that the government says that they're going to forgive and probably won't ever. And even if they do, you shouldn't bank on that. But anyway, maybe what you need to do is take your first step into business as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to pursue a passion. Like, that's a wonderful reason to be in business. Get into business to create future opportunity for yourself. Learn and grow, develop yourself, and eventually get to where you want to go. There's a lot of other opportunities that could be pursued there, but again, just a couple I'm touching on. And then the last one that at least I just kind of thought of as I was writing some things down right before I started to record is freedom. This is my favorite one. While there are a lot of other reasons that I encourage people to be in business, I try and help people as best as I can pursue this or steer them towards pursuing freedom. And I've used this term and others like it just in explaining some of these other things. But ultimately, I believe that freedom is the best thing to pursue. And yes, that's my opinion. And you're like, I'm not you, Ryan. I want to do what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, fine. So you do you, right? You don't have to use this one. But what I like about freedom is, at the end of the day, most of us want to do what we want, when we want, with who we want. Like that would be pretty awesome, right? Like I'm kind of free to live my life the way that I want it to live. Obviously in the parameters of confines of the law, morality, integrity, character, like all those types of things, like super important, but that's a whole nother conversation. But that's what we're after. Like I want to do life on my terms to the best of my ability. That's what freedom's really all about. But in order to do that, we're going to have to determine where we're going to invest time, where we're willing to make sacrifice. Because if somebody says to me, like, I want to pursue freedom. And I'm like, okay, well, what does freedom mean to you? And that person says to me, well, freedom means that I literally get to like live in a really nice house and I don't really have to worry about, I don't have to worry about making my mortgage payments. Like I'm going to be taken care of there. I want to be able to go on vacation when I want to. I want to like pick up and just run out of town for a few days. I want to hop on an airplane and go on vacation. I want to spend my summers at the lake house. And, I want my kids to be able to go to whatever college that they want to. And I want to make sure that, I'm spending all kinds of time with my family. And I'm like, okay, well, hold on here. You may not be able to do all those things. You may need to sacrifice some time with your family if you want to produce the financial resources necessary to do all those other things. Or you may need to give up some of the financial benefits of working really, really hard or long or more because you want to show up to every one of your kids' games. Like there's going to be some sacrifice there. So it's not like this free for all where we just get to like literally it's just whatever, whenever. But we want to define those terms. Maybe that's your purpose. You want to define how you want to live your life. And you're in business for that very reason. That's why people get into business for themselves a lot of times. They become entrepreneurs because they want to create their own path to success. They want to create their own schedule, all of that stuff. And so again, freedom. It's purely this ability to live the life that we were created to live in the way that we were created to live it. There's a lot more there. So anyway, purpose in business. What is yours? Is it one of those things? Is it something else altogether? I'd be really interested to hear your feedback on why you do what you do. And I would love to have a discussion with you. I'd be really interested to hear like why you give your why the way that you do. Those are just some things to consider. Hopefully that's helpful as you're continuing to think about why you're in the business that you're in, why you get up and go to work every single day, why you have the difficult conversations, why you pursue the things you do, and ultimately where you want to go in the long run. So with that, again, just a nice brief summary of something that's been rattling around in my head, gives you an opportunity to think for yourself and really apply that to what you're doing on a day in and day out basis. We'd love to hear your feedback. If there's anything that I missed or said that you didn't like, please feel free to reach out to me. You can get a hold of me through, again, social, email, you can text. There are just a lot of ways that you can do that. One other thing I wanted to make you aware of, if you weren't already, is I do have a great text community. I've been working really hard to continue to expand on the Be Authentic brand, and that's more than just a cool logo. I think it's a cool logo or a cool message on a shirt or a hat or something like that, though that's part of it. But really more than that, it's really this desire, again, and I said this just a few minutes ago, to live the life that you were created to live. That's what it really means to be authentic, to be your true self. So I'd like to help people define that, gain clarity around that, and then figure out how they're going to go live that. So created this text community called the Be Authentic community. You can join. It's free to join. Try to send out regular updates to that. All you need to do is text the letters BA to 714-202-9402. You're going to get an automated response, just that you're agreeing to opt in. And then from that point forward, every single text comes from me directly. If you respond, I'll respond back to you. We'll have conversations. I do giveaways in there. So that's a really fun thing that we can be doing. In addition to that, I am doing a giveaway right now through Instagram. If you're not following me, go ahead and do that at RJM Sales Pro. I'm giving away Be Authentic merchandise all week, and then on Friday I'm going to do a big giveaway. So people that win during the first 4 days of the week, Monday through Thursday, you're going to hear this on Tuesday, so you're going to be a day behind, but you will also qualify to still win the Friday giveaway. So go to my Instagram page, follow me there, check out the post that I posted on Monday. It will give you the instructions on what to do to join in that fun and to win some cool stuff. Other than that, thank you guys so much for continuing to support me, to support this podcast, to support the guests that come on. Really, really thank you for that. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. As always, be you, be happy, be authentic. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Authentic Conversations with Ryan James Miller. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and share it with others. To connect with Ryan and learn more, visit ryanjamesmiller.com.